Hi, I'm Abitha, and in this video, we're going to continue exactly where we left off. We just finished importing some FlexLogger files into DIAdem, and now we're ready to do some data exploration and start doing some of our analysis in this video. So you can see my screen. This is exactly where I've left off in the Navigator panel, and I'm going to go ahead and now move to the View panel. So what is the DIAdem View panel? The View panel is where I'm going to start visualizing all of my data, right? I'm going to take my channels in, I'm going to put them in and see exactly what they look like. I'm going to make sure that, this still looks pretty right to me, and I'm going to start doing some analysis as well. So first thing we're going to do, like we always do in every DIAdem panel, is clear the layout. So now we're starting fresh, and we have tons of partitions here on the left side to pick from. I'm going to go ahead and pick this 4 partition because I think that's good enough for what we're doing today. And I now have 4 areas that I can populate. So what I'm actually going to first do is grab the accelerometer 1 from the first log file and move it into the first panel. And you can see as I was dragging and dropping, I can show it again. As I'm dragging and dropping, it automatically, there's a small pop-up window that comes up and it asks me to pick which visualization I want. And I want the 2D axis system. That's the very basic one. It's just our XY graph, but you can see there's tons of other options I can pick too. So I'm just going to grab both my accelerometer data channels from both log files, and I have them in here now. But they look kind of the same. They're both red. So first thing we're going to do is change this. I'm going to double click, and the moment I double click on one of the graphs, it pulls up a window that shows me all the properties. First thing I'm going to do is take the first one, and I'm going to make it this blue color. Going to hit OK. And the second one, super easy, just double click, and I'm going to make this green. So now I have an idea of which file is which. And now, this is pretty much all we're going to do now in the View panel. We will revisit it, but I'm going to move on to the Analysis tab for a little bit so we can see what analysis we can do to make these visualizations a little bit better and figure out exactly what we want to compare. So I'm moving on to the Analysis tab. And as you can see, there's a blank slate waiting for me. But what does this tab do? So as you can see along the side and along the top, there are hundreds of functions that are custom built for test and measurement data. So the odds of you finding a function that isn't already pre-made in DIAdem is very low. But we see that there's things all the way from curve fitting, signal analysis, which we will do shortly, statistics, all the way to analyzing crash data. So there's lots to choose from. And suppose none of that is there, or the function that I'm wanting to use is not there, I can use this calculator, write my own function, save it as a formula, and use it later. So any calculation you need to do can get done in this panel. But what am I going to do here? I'm going to open up channel functions, and I'm going to generate numeric channels, because I'm going to need numeric channels if I want to do FFT analysis in the next step. So first, I'm going to change this to values from X part of a waveform channel. I'm going to grab accelerometer 1 from the first file. I think it's already populated. Yes, it is. And like I said, everything in DIAdem is drag and drop. So super simple, drag and drop your channel in. I can hit calculate, and I can close this. So I can now see the documentation of the exact move that I've made in DIAdem. And I can see when I did it, what time I did it, and exactly what calculation I did. I'm going to go ahead and move this time up to the top because it was a part of this file. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the second log file. Go ahead, values, grab the accelerometer from the second file, and drag and drop, and hit calculate. And I can close out. And I now see that the 2 chime channels that I'm going to need for FFT analysis in the next step are now here. And once again, suppose I messed up somewhere, I know exactly where I messed up because everything is documented. I can go in, delete a channel just by right-clicking, hitting delete, and I can do the calculation all over again. So in this video, we explored how to do some very basic data exploration using the View. We dragged and dropped 2 channels, saw what they looked like on a 2D axis system, and then we started our analysis by first creating the time channels that we're going to need for FFT analysis. And this FFT analysis is what we're going to do in the next video.